All right, so Nikki walks 2 blocks to her friend Sierra's house. They walk another 4 blocks to school. At the end of the day, Nikki and Sierra walk back to Sierra's house, and then Nikki walks home. That's the setup to the problem. So the distance from Nikki's house to school is 2 plus 4. That equals the distance from the school to Nikki's house, which is 4 plus 2 if you just do it backwards. This is an example of the commutative property for addition. Basically, what the commutative property of addition says is that you can multiply or add in any order. So you can reverse the order in which you multiply or add. Doesn't work with division or subtraction. So like 4 plus 8 and 8 plus 4 are the same, 7 times 11 and 11 times 7 are the same. All right. An easy way to find the sum or product of numbers is to group or associate the numbers using the associative property. So the way you group 3 or more numbers when adding or multiplying does not change their sum or product. So if you have a plus b plus c and you group a plus b first, or you group the b plus c, doesn't matter. You're still adding all of them together. You're going to get the same answer. Same thing with multiplication. If you group them differently, you're still going to get the same answer. Again, this does not hold true for subtraction or division. The reason, though, that this is helpful is sometimes if you regroup numbers when you're adding or multiplying, it makes the multiplication or addition easier to compute in your head. So Eric makes a list of items that he needs to buy for a party and their costs. Find the total cost of these items. So if I do 6.75 plus 14, 23.25, 20.50, and I add those all together. All right, if I'm trying to do this in my head, I might want to add the 675 and the 23.25 together first, because the change, the 75 cents and the 25 cents, are going to add up and make a whole even dollar amount together. And then these two together are going to add up very nicely and just give me 50 cents. So I would have $30 plus $34.50. See, I've added intelligently or smart addition there so that I get 2 answers that are pretty easy to now add together and get $64.50. Okay, so I used the commutative property to rearrange them, then the associative property to group them. Okay, then substitution is just their answers. All right, so the total cost is $64.50. So Raphael is buying furnishings for his first apartment. He buys a couch for $300, lamps for $30.50, rug for $25.50, and a table for 50 cents. Find the total cost of these items. Now again, you could just plug these numbers straight into your calculator and hit enter. But if you had to do this using mental math, you'd want to use the commutative and associative properties to add them in your head. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and hit play when you're ready. All right, so you would have $300 plus $30.50 plus $25.50 plus 50. I'd want to first rearrange them with the commutative property and put the 300 and the 50 together, and the 30.50 and the 25.50 together next. That's using the commutative property. Then you group the 300 and the 50 and the 30.50 and 25.50 together and use the associative property to group them. Okay, and you can see the 300 plus 50 is 350, and then 30.50 plus 25.50 is going to be $56. All right, and that's just substitution. And then when you add those together, you get $406. And then again, that's substitution again. And that's the total cost of his items. Pretty cool, huh? Right. So let's evaluate this expression using the properties of numbers and then name the property used in each step. So this is all multiplication, okay? But we want to multiply intelligently in our head. So I'm going to rearrange them so that the 5 times 2 comes first. Then that's using the commutative properties because I'm rearranging, the order is different. And then I'm going to use the associative property to group them. Why? Why am I grouping the 5 times 2? because 5 times 2 is 10. And it's really easy to multiply by 10 because basically when you multiply by 10, whatever you're multiplying it by, you just add a 0 to it. So 7 times 4 is 28, that's substitution. And then 10 times 28 is 280. Ready? All right. So evaluate each expression using the properties of numbers. Name the property used in each step. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, we're back. So what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to rearrange the 2.9 times 10 first times the 4 using the commutative property because I'm changing the order. Then I'm going to group the 2.9 times 10 using the associative property because 2.9 times 10, all you do is move the decimal over, in this case, one place, and that gives you an even 29 times 4. And 29 times 4, you could think of that as 30 times 4, which 30 times 4 is 120, right? But 29 is 1 less than 30. So 30 times 4 is going to be 4 more than 29 times 4. Here's why. Because 29 times 4 means 4 29 times. 30 times 4 means 4 30 times. So I have an extra group of 4. But multiplying 30 times 4 is way easier. Just like 3 times 4 is 12, so 35 times 4 is 120. Then I have to take off a group of 4 and get 116. Okay, that's just how mentally I think about it to help me out. Okay? So this one, I'm going to regroup the 5/3 and the 3 together, or reorder them. Okay, and then group them like this. So I reordered them using the commutative property. Then I grouped them using the associative property. And then 5/3 times 3, the 3's cancel and you get 5. 25 times 2 is 50. And here again, if you know 5 times 5, it's easy to do 5 times 50. 5 times 5 is 25. So 5 times 50 is 250. All right, good stuff. All right, guys, that's it for this section. Please continue on to your assignment. And as always, reach out if you have any questions. Take care.